Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatha Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganaraganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Baran Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishikam Vidam Sya Om Agyana Timaranda Shagyana Jana Shalakaya Chakshurun Melidam Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhishtam Supurakam Gurganara Sisha Sabhushitam Chintya Chintya Samastabeda Nipunam Shri Rupa Bhatanugam Govindam Vidam Ujwalam Bharatanum Bhakjanvitam Sundaram Vande Vishwaguruncha Divyat Bhagavat Prem Nawe Bijapradam Devam Divyatanam Suchandavaranam Balarka Chelanshidam Sandrananda Puram Sadekavaranam Vairagya Vidyam Buddhim Sri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Baram Vanditam Shubharam Madeka Sharanam Nyashishvara Shridaram Vanshakopatarubyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahabaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratabhishe Namaha. So we're hearing from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, translation and commentary by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. This is Madhya-lila chapter 12, the cleansing of the Gundicha Temple, text number 44. We're hearing about how Mahaprabhu doesn't want to meet with Maharaj Prataparudra, but Ramananda Roy is describing the good qualities of the king to Mahaprabhu, and he's softening his heart. So, Raja Mantri Ramananda Vyabhare Nipun Raja Priti Kohe Dravila Prabhurman. Sri Ramananda Roy was indeed a diplomatic minister for the king. His behavior was very expert, and simply by describing the king's love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gradually softened the Lord's mind. A diplomat in the material world knows how to deal with people, especially in political affairs. Some of the great devotees of the Lord, like Ramananda Roy, Raghunath Das Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Rupa Goswami, were government officers and had a background of very opulent householder life. Consequently, they knew how to deal with people. In many instances, we have seen the diplomacy of Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, and Ramananda Roy employed in the service of the Lord. When Raghunath Das Goswami's father and uncle were to be arrested by government officials, Raghunath Das Goswami hid them and personally met the government officers and settled the affair diplomatically. And the government officer was actually a Muslim, and Raghunath Das Goswami dealt with him very nicely. This is but one instance. Similarly, Sanatana Goswami, after resigning his ministership, was thrown in jail, and he bribed the attendant of the jail so he could leave the clutches of the Nawab and live with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now we see Ramananda Roy, most confidential devotee of the Lord, diplomatically soften the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, despite the fact that the Lord definitely decided not to meet the king. The diplomacy of Ramananda Roy and entreaties of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and all the other great devotees succeeded. The conclusion is that diplomacy used for the service of the Lord is a form of devotional service. So we read that purport yesterday, and it's describing how Mahaprabhu, in the beginning, he's very adamant about not meeting with the king, but now he heard from Sarvabhauma, he's hearing from Ramananda Roy. He's still very determined not to meet the king. It's what you would call right now a real point of contention, that Mahaprabhu, no, I will not meet with the king.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Because isn't it normal that in the Vedic culture that the kings would take instructions from the Brahmanas or the Vaishnavas?
Yes, it's normal. Those are pious kings. They would do that.
Also, this was not a pious king?
What Maharaj Prataparudra is a very pious king. He's a devotee.
So then why was Lord Chaitanya reluctant to meet with him?
Because Mahaprabhu was a Virakta sannyasi. He's a very strict sannyasi. And according to Mahaprabhu says, I will not meet with a king because he's so rich and he has all material facilities. I don't want to meet with a materialist. The king is the head of the materialists. Similarly, Mahaprabhu won't really meet with women. That's the kind of, in that time, sannyas was very, very strict like that. And Mahaprabhu, he's so strict, he won't sleep on any kind of he sleeps on the ground. Mahaprabhu sleeps on the ground. It's just like he's very renounced and very strict in his observance. And also, we understand that Mahaprabhu is showing an example to the devotees. So he doesn't want to have dealings with the king because he doesn't want the devotees going to rich people trying to curry some favors from them. So he's setting an example.
That sometimes can happen with a temple, where a temple depends on rich Indians, and then they kind of compromise.
No. This is you're talking about what the situation is now today. How we're just like Prabhupada said. He said to maintain, or actually Prabhupada said no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling. And Govinda Maharaj makes some humorous comment about that. He says that actually those are the four things that, that where Kali lives, personification of Kali Yuga. But there's a fifth place, and it's mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that place is where gold is hoarded, or where money is hoarded. And Srila Govinda Maharaj makes a joke. Actually, Govinda Maharaj, he studied from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Swami Prabhupada, so he has much appreciation for Prabhupada. But he said he didn't mention that where gold is hoarded because he said it takes money to run a mission. He's not going to comment on that. Because
that was one of the places that Kali was allowed to reside.
Yeah.
Where there's gold.
Yeah. So, but Mahaprabhu is showing an example. He doesn't want devotees going to kings or rich people.
Right.
So that's just the example he's showing.
So externally, the king, he considered him a materialist, but actually the king was actually a devotee.
Yeah, but that's going to all come out in the transcourse of time. This is going to go on for some time. And actually, after some time, Mahaprabhu meets with him. And when but the king comes dressed as a Vaishnava. He reads the Gopi Gita to Mahaprabhu during the Rathayatra. That'll come up. And then when Mahaprabhu is going to Vrindavan, and he goes through Bengal, on the way there, he goes through Cuttack, and he meets specifically with the king. They embrace, and the king is washed with the tears of Mahaprabhu, and the king, so Mahaprabhu gives this mercy to the king, but in the beginning, he won't hear of it. He won't hear of meeting with the king. So, Utkantate Prataparudra Nare Rakibare Ramananda Sharilena Prabhure Milibare. Maharaj Prataparudra, in great anxiety, could not endure not seeing the Lord. Therefore, Sri Ramananda Roy, by his diplomacy, arranged a meeting with the Lord for the king. Ramananda Prabhu Pai, Koilani Vedan, Ekbar Prataparudre, Dekaha Charan. Sri Ramananda Roy frankly requested Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please show your lotus feet to the king at least once. Prabhu Kohe Ramananda Kaha Vichariya Rajake Milite Jujai Sanyase Hana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, my dear Ramananda, you should make this request after duly considering whether it is befitting for a sannyasi to meet a king. Rajara Milane Bhikkhu Kera Dui Lokanash Paraloka Rahu Loke Kore Upahas. If a mendicant meets a king, this world and the next world are both destroyed for the mendicant. Indeed, what is there to say of the next world? In this world, people will joke if a sannyasi meets a king. Ramananda Kohe, Tumi Ishwara Swatantra, Kari Tomarabai, Tumi Naha Paratantra. Ramananda Rai replied, "My Lord, you are the supreme independent personality. You have nothing to fear from anyone because you are not dependent on anyone." Prabhu Kohe Ami Manusha Ashrame Sannyasi Kaya Manobhake Vyabhare Baya Bashi. When Sri Ramananda Roy addressed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahaprabhu objected, saying, "I am not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but an ordinary human being. Therefore I must fear public opinion in three ways: with my body, mind, and words." So Ramananda Roy, he knows that Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. Mahaprabhu showed his form to Mahaprabhu. He showed Ramananda his form of Krishna. And Ramananda knows he's the Supreme Lord, but Mahaprabhu objects. And this is a very important point of Mahaprabhu's Leela. He doesn't show himself as the Supreme Lord, but he shows himself as a devotee, because he's adopted the mood and the color of Srimati Radharani. And Radharani, he's taking that means he's taking Radharani as a devotee. In a sense, she's the most highest of all devotees in the service of Krishna, serving him in great separation. So Mahaprabhu, what's he showing? He's showing the role of the Acharya. Mahaprabhu, what he's showing is the Acharya Leela. And that's explained, I've read that in books like Prabhupada Jivanamrita, etc., that Mahaprabhu, he doesn't show himself as the Lord, but he shows himself as a devotee. Therefore, you see in the Sikshastika what he says. He said, "Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patita mam vishame bhavambudo." He says, "O my Lord, son of Nanda Maharaj, son of Krishna, you are Krishna. Somehow or other I have fallen into this ocean of birth and death, and I do not find any way of extracting or getting out of this ocean. Only if you lift me up and put me as a particle of dust at your lotus feet can this be done." Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patita mam vishame bhavambudo. That's not the comment of the Supreme Lord. That's the comment of a devotee. "Oh, my dear Krishna, somehow or other I've fallen into this ocean of birth and death." Or nadanam najanam nasundarim kavitam va jagadishai kamai mama janmani janmanishware bhavatad bhaktir haituki tvai. I don't want wealth. I don't want beautiful women. I don't want followers. The only thing I ask for is your devotional service in my life, birth after birth. It says like that. That's the prayer of the devotee. It's not the prayer of the Supreme Lord. So, although Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord and he's shown himself to Ramananda Roy, he says, "I am not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but an ordinary human being. Therefore I must fear public opinion in three ways: with my body, mind, and words." And Mahaprabhu is his prayers, his activities, what he's showing. He's giving the example of how a person is the ideal example of how to conduct oneself as a servant of the Lord. That's really what he's showing. And he definitely doesn't want to show an example of just freely meeting with king or rich persons and then have all the devotees going to people and asking for favors. And we've seen that in extreme cases. Buy me this, get me that.
Schmoozing, right?
Huh?
They call it schmoozing. schmoozing, someone goes to
Yeah.
mingle and get favors and get
Yeah,
money.
so he doesn't want devotees to do that. Srila Govinda Maharaj remarked, when he was a young brahmachari, some rich person came and they bought him a watch. And this was a long time ago. And Guru Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, kept on looking at that watch when he was with Govinda Maharaj. And Govinda Maharaj knew that. And he knew that Srila Sridhar Maharaj didn't like that he had gotten this watch from this man as a gift. And finally, Govinda Maharaj, he gets a little angry, so he put the watch on the ground and smashed it. And then he said to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, something like, he was young, and he said, "Now are you happy?" And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, "Yes." And he smashed the watch. Srila Sridhar Maharaj didn't want his devotees getting favors from persons, from householders, getting gifts, etc. Shukla Bhastre Mashi Bindu Jaichi Nalukai Sanyasira Alpachidra Sarva Lokegai. As soon as the general public finds a little fault in the behavior of a sannyasi, they advertise it like wildfire. A black spot of ink cannot be hidden on a white cloth. It is always very prominent. Raya kohe kata papir korijacha abhyahati Ishwara Sevaka Tomar Bhakta Gajapati. Ramananda Roy replied, "My dear Lord, you have delivered so many sinful people. This Maharaj Prataparudra, the king of Orissa, is actually a servitor of the Lord and your devotee." Prabhu Kohe Purna Jaiche Dugdera Kalas Surabindu Pate Keho Nakore Parash. Mahaprabhu then said, There may be much milk in a big pot, but if it is contaminated by a drop of liquor, it is untouchable. So even a drop of liquor goes into a big pot of milk, it's considered untouchable. Jajapi Prataparudra Sarva Gunavan Kahare Milina Koila Eg Rajanam. The king certainly possesses all good qualities, but simply by taking up the name king, he has infected everything. Tatapi Tomar Jadi Mahagraya Hoy Tabi Ani Milahatumi Taharatanoi. But if you are still very eager for the king to meet with me, please first bring his son to meet me. Atma Bai Jayate Putra E Shastra Bani Putra Milane Chena Milive Apani. It is indicated in the revealed scriptures that the son represents the father. Therefore, the son's meeting with me would be just as good as the king's meeting with me. So Mahaprabhu says, I'll meet with the king's son. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Atma Vai Putra Utpana Iti Veda Nu Sanam. The Vedas enjoined that one is born as his own son. The son is non-different from the father and is admitted in this is admitted in every revealed scripture. In Christian theology, it is believed that Christ, the Son of God, is also God. Or in other words, that they are identical. Tabirai Jaisab Raja Kohila Prabhura Gyayatara Putra Loya Aila. Ramananda Roy then went to inform the king about his talks with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and following the Lord's orders, brought the king's son to see him. Sundara Rajar Putra Shamala Baran Kishora Mayasa Dirga Kamalanayan. The prince, just entering upon his youth, was very beautiful. He was blackish in complexion and had large lotus eyes. Pitambaradari Ange Ratna Abaran Sri Krishna Smarane Teho Hoila Udipan. The prince was dressed in yellow cloth, and there were jeweled ornaments decorating his body. Therefore, anyone who saw him would remember Lord Krishna. Tarideki Mahaprabhu Krishna Smriti Hoila Prema Veshe Tari Mili Kohite Lagila. Seeing the boy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately remembered Krishna. Meeting the boy in ecstatic love, the Lord began to speak. E Mahabhagavat Jaharanarshane Brajendra Nandana Smriti Hoy Sarvajane. Here's a great devotee, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Upon seeing him, everyone can remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda. So the prince is a youth. He's darkish in color. He's dressed in yellow garments. Krishna wears yellow garments. He has jewels, and immediately seeing him, one will remember Krishna. So when Mahaprabhu meets the king's son, he's thinking of Krishna, because his son has that, that appearance.
Why is he favorable to meeting the king's son but not the king? Is that not a similar issue with power?
No. Nobody will criticize Mahaprabhu for meeting the king's son. In his Anubhashya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that a materialist mistakenly accepts the body and mind as a source of material enjoyment. In other words, a materialist accepts the bodily conception of life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not regard the son of Maharaj Prataparudra with the idea that he was a materialist, being the son of a materialist, nor did he consider himself the enjoyer. Mayavadi philosophers make a great mistake by assuming that Satchidananda Vigraha, the transcendental form of the Lord, is like a material body. However, there is no material contamination in transcendence, nor is there any possibility of imagining a spirituality in matter. One cannot accept matter as spirit, as indicated by the technical words Boma Ijadi. Materialistic Mayavadis imagine the form of God in matter, although according to their imagination. God is unlimitedly formless. This is simply mental speculation. Even though Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he placed himself in the position of a gopi. He also accepted the king's son directly as the son of Maharaj Nanda, Brajendra Nandana Hari. This is perfect vision according to the direction of the Vedic culture as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Pandita Samadarshana. Such acceptance of the absolute truth, according to Vaishnava philosophy, is explained in both the Mundaka Upanishad and Nikata Upanishad in the following words. Nayam Atma Prava Chananena Labhya Namedhayana Bahuna Shrutena Yam Evaisha Rinute Tena Labhyas Tashaivatma Viv Rinute Tanum Swam. The Supreme Lord is not obtained by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, nor even by much hearing. He is obtained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person he manifests his own form. A living entity is entangled in material existence due to his lack of such spiritual vision. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur has sung in his Kalyana Kalpataru, Samsare Asya Prakriti Vajjiya Purusha Abhimane Mari. When the living entity comes to the material world, he thinks himself the enjoyer. Thus he becomes more and more entangled. Anyway, the point is that Mahaprabhu is not making it easy to meet with the king. And his extracting some determination of the king also by doing so. He is making the king more and more anxious, and the king is developing more and more desire to meet with Mahaprabhu. And that kind of anxiousness of the king to meet with Mahaprabhu, it's good that he takes this very deeply and very, very seriously. Mahaprabhu is just not making this something that, oh yes, I'll meet with the king. He's making the king develop some great anxiety and great desire to meet with him, and increasing that feeling in the king, and that is a very good thing. And now he's saying, all right, I won't meet with the king, I'll meet with his son. But then you'll see Mahaprabhu shows his mercy to the son, and then that will extract even more feeling from the king. So this is...
So it's not just a test, but also to increase the king's mood of separation?
Yes, of course. Everything is very deep within Mahaprabhu's Leela. It's not like he's showing an example to the devotee. And many things, in Mahaprabhu's behavior, many things are almost incomprehensible. You have to take them very deeply. Kritarto hoilana ami iharadarshane etaboli punatare koila alingane. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, I have become very much obligated just by seeing this boy. After saying this, the Lord again embraced the prince. So, seeing the boy, Mahaprabhu immediately remembered Krishna. Meeting the boy in ecstatic love, the Lord began to speak. Here is a great devotee, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Upon seeing him, everyone can remember Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj. Mahaprabhu continued, I become very much obligated just by seeing this boy. After saying this, Mahaprabhu again embraced the prince, pardon me. Kritartha Hoilan. I become, you say, very moved by seeing this prince, the son, the prince rather, the son of the king. Prabhu Sparshe, Rajaputra, Hoila Premavesh, Swetakampa, Ashru Stamba, Pulakabisesh. As soon as the prince was touched by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, symptoms of ecstatic love immediately manifested themselves in his body. These symptoms included perspiration, trembling, tears, being stunned, and jubilation. Krishna Krishna kahe nache koraye rodan tarabhagya dekis slaga kori bhaktagan. The boy began to cry and dance, and he chanted Krishna Krishna. Upon seeing his bodily symptoms and his chanting and dancing, all the devotees praised him for his great spiritual fortune. Tabe Mahaprabhu tare darya korala nityase amay miliha e agyadila. At that time Mahaprabhu calmed the youth and ordered him to come there daily to meet him. Vidayaya Rayadila Raja Putre Loya Rajasuka Paila Putra Cheshtadekiya. Ramananda Roy and the boy then departed from Mahaprabhu, and Ramananda Roy took him back to the king's palace. The king was very happy when he heard of his son's activities. His son's dancing and chanting in ecstasy. Putre Lingana Kori Premavishta Hoila Sakat Parashajena Mahaprabhu Paila. Just by embracing his son, the king was filled with ecstatic love, just as if he had touched Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly. Say Hoite Bhagavan Rajaranandan Prabhu Bhakta Gana Madhya Hoila Ekjan. From then on, the fortunate prince was one of the most intimate devotees of the Lord. In this regard, Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati writes, Ya Karunya Kataka Vaibhavatam. If Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu simply glanced at someone for a moment, that person immediately turned into one of the most confidential devotees of the Lord. The prince came to see the Lord for the first time, but by the Lord's mercy, the boy immediately became a topmost devotee. This was not in theory, but in practice. We cannot apply the Nagna Matrika Nyaya formula states that if one's mother was naked in her childhood, she should continue to remain naked even though she has become the mother of so many children. So what that's saying is, don't depend on your previous observations to conclude something. Just like one's mother is naked when she's born, but she's obviously not going to go naked during her life. So you cannot conclude just from one instance of seeing something. So that's what that, I mean, we would think, oh, this is absurd, that she's born naked, so she'll continue naked throughout her life. So that's the idea. You don't go on the basis of some simple past observation. If a person is actually blessed by the mercy of the Lord, he can immediately become a topmost devotee of the Lord. The logic of Nagna Matrika states that if a person is not elevated on such and such a date, he cannot become an exalted devotee overnight, as it were. This particular instance offers evidence to the contrary of that theory. On the previous day, the boy was simply an ordinary prince. And the next day, he was counted as one of the topmost devotees of the Lord. This was all made possible by the causeless mercy of the Lord. The Lord is omnipotent, all-powerful and almighty, and he can act as he likes. So that prince became transformed by getting Mahaprabhu's mercy. E Mata Mahaprabhu Bhaktagan Sange, Nirantara Krida Kore, Sankirtana Range. Thus Mahaprabhu acted in the society of his pure devotees, performing his pastimes and spreading the Sankirtan movement. Acharjari Bhakta Kore, Prabhureni Mantran, Tahan Bhikka Kore, Loya Bhaktagan. Some of the prominent devotees, like Advaitacharya, used to invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take his meals at their homes. The Lord accepted such invitations, accompanied by his devotees. E Mata Nanarange Dinakata Gela, Jagannatara Rathayatra Nikata Hoila. In this way the Lord passed some days in great jubilation. Then the Rathayatra festival of Lord Jagannath approached. Pratame Kashi Mishre Prabhu Volaila Paricha Patra Sarva Bhome Loyanya Anila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu first of all called for Kashi Mishra, then for the superintendent of the temple, then for Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. Tinjan Pashe Prabhu Hasya Kohila Gundicha Mandira Marjan Seva Magi Nila. When these three people came before the Lord, he begged them for permission to wash the temple known as Gundicha. The Gundicha Temple is situated 2 miles northeast of the Jagannath Temple. At the time of the Rathayatra festival, Lord Jagannath goes to the Gundicha Temple from his original temple and stays there for 1 week. After 1 week, he returns to his original temple. It is understood by hearsay that the wife of Indradyumna, the king who established the Jagannath Temple, was known as Gundicha. Therefore, there is also mention of the name of the Gundicha Temple in authoritative scripture. The area of the Gundicha Temple is is estimated to be 288 cubits by 250 cubits. It's a measure. A cubit is about 1.5 feet. The main temple inside is about 36 cubits by 30 cubits, and the Kirtan hall is 32 cubits by 30 cubits. So you could calculate this. What does it say? A cubit is?
1.5 feet.
Mm-hmm. So then 288 will be about 144, 300, 400. Say 400 by about 300, roughly speaking, about 12. Is that right?
400 would be...
Say 400 by, what cubit is a foot and a half? 288, more than 4.5, more than 400, say 420 by 300. Roughly about 1,300 square feet, right? No, much lower. 400 by 300. 4 times 3 is 12, and then there's 4 zeros after it.
Yeah, 120,000.
What?
120,000, a little more.
120,000 square feet. Okay. Padicha gohe amisam sevaka tomar jay tomaricha se kartavya amar. Upon hearing the Lord's request for permission to wash the temple, the Padicha, the superintendent of the temple, said, My dear Lord, we are all your servants. Whatever you desire is our duty to perform. Visheshe Rajara Agya Hayache Amare Prabhu Agya Jay Se Sigra Koribare. The king gave a special order for me to do without delay whatever your lordship orders. Tomara Jogya Seban Nahi Mandir Marjan Ek Lila Kora Jay Tomaraman. My dear Lord, washing the temple is not service befitting you. Nonetheless, if you wish to do so, it is to be accepted as one of your pastimes, as part of your Leela. So tomorrow we'll enter into that. This chapter is called the cleansing of the Gundicha Temple. So this is the primary activity is describing the cleansing of the Gundicha Temple, and there's an explanation by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur what this means, and it means cleaning of the temple also means how a devotee cleanses one's own heart, or his or her own heart. So we'll hear about this activity of cleansing the Gundicha Temple. And this story of the king getting the mercy of the Lord, this is something that's running for several chapters. It's always there going on. But and we heard that from the last chapter, but it will be resolved soon. So today I'll stop here. Short class. Okay. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah. Haraya Namah Krishna Jadavaya Namah. Jadavaya Madhavaya Jadavaya Madhavaya Krishnavaya Namah. Namah Vasa Parikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Statara Sada Shishi Mad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtadhara Sadashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachara Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunashi Jiva Gopal Bhattadasha Raghunash Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad Ki Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vishwavaranya Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopi Govardhan Shyam Guna Radha Kunda Kalindi Yamuna Ju Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Seva Ashram Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Sri Kartik Vrata Ki Jai. Sri Damodar Vrata Ki Jai. Sri Niyama Seva Ki Jai. Sri Urja Vrata Ki Jai. Bahulashtami Deen Ki Jai. Srila Govinda Maharaj Vyas. Srila Govinda Maharaj Sannyas Leela Day Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Yadi. Also, discovery.
Janardan Maharaj Sannyas Day Ki Jai.
And the discovery of Radha Kund was on today.
Today is also the installation of the Swati.
Okay. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari
Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardan Maharaj Ki Jai.